I think most of my dreams now are for my kids and grandkids. I don't know that there's anything that needs to be fulfilled in my life that hasn't been.
Yeah.
Through Susan or through my kids and grandkids.
I love that.
So maybe it's the unknown dreams that are the best ones.
Welcome to the Deep End Podcast with Dave and Jen. Today's episode is with Dennis and Susan Crawford. Come listen to what it looks like to live a life of faith and steadfastness towards the Lord. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Deep End with Dave and Jen here. We have a very special guest. This is our first time we've ever had two people.
Yeah.
Dennis and Susan Crawford. Big time. Big time.
You still actually only have one. I'm just here.
No, you're here,
Susan's
Dennis.
the talker.
Your emotional support.
We're gonna get both. We're gonna get stories from both. That's what our goal is here. But we had to bring both of you guys on because I just feel like you guys are important to this community.
We have talked about it several times.
The parents of Casey Crawford, that everybody knows, and also Paige as well.
Paige,
why does
why
does she have so many names?
She doesn't. She only has one name.
I know that, but I'm like Paige, Kristen. I hear other stuff. People say other stuff like nicknames. I don't even know. Tia. Tia. What the heck is that?
In her sorority, UNC, two of her roommates were named Kristen.
Oh wow.
So they decided to call her by her middle name, which is Paige.
No, before she even went to college, though, she decided to start using Paige because Kristen was such a common name.
Yeah.
Okay. And Paige is her middle name, and it means Christian child.
Oh.
I love that.
Yeah, I didn't, I liked the name anyway,
Sure.
but then, and of course I spelled it wrong because, Kristen, we agreed Kristen. Dennis said, I don't want to put an I in there or a Y in there. It's just, get all fancy. So Paige, I had a friend named Paige and I really liked that name.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that a page for a girl is Paige.
IGE.
Yeah,
So
I always mess it up when I'm putting her name into Wodify because I never can find it. So, so now I know to blame you for that.
Yes.
Okay. All right,
yes,
got it.
you can blame me for that. But then,
Yep.
but at her wedding with Jake, people were standing up talking about Paige and Kristen, and Casey got up and he said, I don't know who this Paige person is that y'all are talking about. I have a sister and her name is Kristen.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness.
I've never called her Kristen.
Believe me, I know.
Believe me, I know.
And then the girls in the sorority house, she also played softball, and they started calling her Pahina.
Pahina.
Because she spoke Spanish a little bit, so Spanish. And
Spanish.
That's where she got the Tia when she went to Honduras for the Peace Corps.
There we go.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Tia.
So that's when, for the kids to call her, all compound kids call her Tia.
Oh.
And it's convenient when we get a phone call and they ask for Paige, we know it's a college or later friend. If they ask for Kristen, they know it's a high school friend.
That's nice.
So much for our not talking about our children.
No, we're definitely talking about the children.
We'll probably do that.
How do we want to start? I mean, I know how I want to start. I do want to know.
By all means, Jen, go ahead, girl.
I was trying to give you a chance, but then I already had.
You got it, girl. You roll with it.
So I would love to know how you guys met.
I knew you were going to ask that question.
Are we live now?
We are. We started.
We're fully recording here, big dog. Yeah.
Sorry, we kind of just roll into it.
I want to pick my nose.
Oh yeah, you can't. Well, you could.
We could probably edit that out if you like.
We can edit. We just say edit that out, Matt, if we need to edit it out. But yeah, tell me how you guys met.
The simple version is we were introduced by friends.
Really?
But the more interesting part is probably too long a story for this.
Oh
but
my goodness. Okay.
Did I tell you that?
You have told me, but I feel like the world would like to know. The listeners.
Well, okay. So Dennis played football in high school.
Mm-hmm.
We went to rival high schools, and at the end of every season, we exchanged a victory bell. And it's coming to the time for the victory bell. I'm a cheerleader at my high school.
Okay.
And the paper comes out with an article that says Dennis Crawford's not going to be able to play because he hurt his knee. And I'm like, yes!
You got hurt, Dennis?
We're going to win.
You never get hurt. My gosh, dude.
The first of 1,000.
Yeah. Man's lived hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, bless.
So
you were
I
happy?
celebrate that,
Okay.
and then we do win the game. And then another article comes out in the paper and says that the coach from Carolina is recruiting in the D.C. area. They've never done it. It's the first time they've done it, and they signed like 8 kids from the Washington area. It's a
Okay.
brand new coach there, and Dennis's name was on the list of people they had signed. And I just kind of passively looked and said, "Oh, what do you know?" and went on about my business. And then I get to Wake Forest, and he's playing at Carolina, so we play him every year. And the first year we're there, I'm looking, I wonder if that kid from Falls Church is still there. So sure enough, he's there on the roster. What he'll tell you is that he virtually never played because he kept re-injuring that knee and having surgery almost every year. But he was always on the roster. So every year I would check and say, oh, no, this guy's
There he
still there.
is.
Never met him, never knew anything about him other than just a guy, and he's listed
From the
Falls
same
Church, Virginia.
area, yeah.
And
From the
I
bad
graduate.
neighborhood.
Oh,
I graduate and go off
Clarification.
to New York for a year, and Dennis graduates and works in the Poconos and travels around with a friend and stuff. And we end up back in the D.C. area. And I found a roommate to share an apartment, and she graduated from Falls Church. And I never asked her anything. I didn't even think about
Right.
him. And she wanted to take me out for my birthday, and she said, let's go pick up my sister. She lives in Vienna.
okay.
And Vienna, Virginia, not anyway, which is another
got you.
suburb.
That's a good.
Yeah. So we go to
Point.
pick up her sister, and she introduces me and the other roommate, Peggy, and another roommate, Maureen. And then this guy walks in the door and plunks down in the living room like he owns it. And I'm like, well, who's
Who is
that? And they
that?
introduce me, and it's Dennis. He is the fourth roommate. He has 3 girls living upstairs, and he refers to himself as the troll in the basement.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God.
And she said, "You're Dennis.
sounds like you,
this
Dennis.
is Dennis Crawford." I said, "You're
No
Dennis
way.
Crawford, really? Because
Yeah.
I've been following you for years."
This
Yeah,
was
there we
an
go.
impressive entrance too. I had on my blue hardware shirt with my name on it, and I
Okay.
smelled like Varsol.
Oh,
I probably
man.
had oil on my hands and stuff. Anyway,
Oh.
Did you have your eye on Susan the whole time as well? She's got her eye on you for years. What sounds like?
I kind of knew her and
Okay,
kind of
all
didn't.
right, all right.
Okay.
I really
This
didn't.
was
And
new.
Yeah.
we had as we started to talk, he was best friends, really good friends with a lot of my high school friends, and somehow we just had never he took one of my real good friends to the sweetheart dance. She was the queen of the thing, and somebody fixed them up because her longtime boyfriend was at college or something. So there was like these kind of these opportunities
Yeah.
that never unfolded into anything until
Wow.
that time.
Half
So-
my Sunday school class went to your school.
Well, that was the
Oh.
thing, and these were kids that he knew his whole
Okay.
life. His parents were charter members of their church,
Okay.
and they had this group of parents had all started this church together, and he had grown up with these people, and I didn't know any of them real well of those folks that but I did know some of them
Wow.
pretty well, and we just hadn't met.
So then,
There
what
we
did
go.
you think when you met her? Like, how did it become to where you were like, I like this lady here?
I'm not sure I proposed that night, but I was probably pretty close.
No way! Oh my god!
Oh no! He was absolutely not interested, but.
Okay, those are two totally different.
That's big differences
Well, I
there.
was dating somebody else, and he knew that.
That's right. She had a
Oh,
boyfriend. Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
And so anyway, but
And
so
you
he-
respected that, Dennis.
yes, he did.
Oh.
Come on, Dennis.
his
Let's hear
friend-
what you got to say.
Well,
Let's hear-
let me because this is
yeah.
because he'll tell
Susan, are you
what-
sure?
I gotta be
Susan,
real
I have
careful.
a feeling, Susan. I got to get his side of the story
Yeah.
about this. All right, I got
Well,
his
just
story.
so that we stayed at this at
Right.
that house instead of going out for my birthday. All these people started showing up that Dennis had known his whole life.
Yeah.
And I was an Air Force brat, and I had like one pen pal I would hang on to until I adjusted to the new place that we lived. And I thought that was just so cool that all these people had known each other for so long. But the next day, one of the guys from there called my roommate and asked her out. And I said, tell her I want to go out with Dennis.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hey.
And Dennis is like, okay. So we went to...
Just going with the flow,
But
Dennis.
let me
Yeah.
see if I'm open. Yeah.
Can I fit you in?
Yeah.
You can fit her.
There we go.
So we went to see Linda Ronstadt at the cellar door, and that was her
Wow.
opening night. And then he asked me out again the following Saturday to see her last night. So we saw Linda Ronstadt twice at the cellar door.
Wow.
And those were our first 2 dates. And then there was a
History.
long period of confusion for a while. And then,
Oh, no.
Not long, but anyway.
Were you confused?
No, I wasn't confused.
Yeah, hey Dennis. Dennis, I want to hear. Is everything pretty accurate there? Do you have anything to add to that as far as how you met and everything? Like, it's all you, Dennis.
Well, yeah, she's not telling you the messy part. I had to get rid of that boyfriend. No, I didn't
Right.
have to.
There we go.
He got rid of himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that made it.
You just
easy.
waited him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I did impolite things like calling her at his house.
You knew what you
No,
were
you
doing.
did not.
Can I speak to your girlfriend?
I love that.
Well, I wasn't
Just making moves.
I'm trying to be aggressive. But,
Yeah. But
let
you were
you know.
showing interest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kids
That's really
kids
cool.
nowadays won't do that.
No.
They don't have that backbone like that.
No, they don't.
Oh, no. Well,
You teach them a thing or two.
They all
Dennis.
go 20 at a time somewhere. They never go
Yeah.
just with one other person.
So,
That's true.
so Dennis, you grew up in a tough neighborhood. Is that what you said?
I worked in a tough neighborhood.
Yeah.
Didn't really grow up in a tough neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm a typical, average, suburban kid.
Oh, he had kids on his junior high football team that wouldn't practice unless they could have a cigarette break.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
Wow.
My boys club team, half of them were like the East Coast Hells Angels, it was called. The
Wow.
Yeah, they were all
Later.
bikers
Yeah.
and stuff.
Not
Yeah,
then,
but yeah, they were fun. And we used to practice at night. They'd park their cars. This is, we're supposed to be 12 and 13 years old, and these guys were driving cars. They were 15, 16.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, and the coach knew that halfway through practice we'd have to break for a cigarette break or they'd quit.
Wow.
So it's like they were like, hey coach, like this is what the deal is. If we're playing, we're smoking cigs halfway through.
That's it. Yep. And if we didn't win the game, there was going to be a bad rumble in the parking lot.
Kids definitely don't do that nowadays. What position do you play?
I was a tight end. Well, actually, in boys club, I was a tackle because I was the youngest kid in the team, but I was big.
Yeah.
So they put me in the line. They put all the little, fast little guys in the backfield.
And then you became a tight end for Carolina.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's where Casey learned all his
That's
stuff.
where Casey.
Who was
yeah.
better?
Oh.
Oh, Casey was much better.
I mean, come on. You get rid of some of your injuries. You had to be better than the guy. he only played like a couple years, right?
He played as many years as he wanted to. He could have played a long time. He had other things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he left, his dad, his guys in the NFL said, if they didn't play football, they'd be driving a UPS truck. I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss it more than he does.
I bet you do. I bet you do. I love it.
Yeah,
Now,
I wanted to go to every stadium in the NFL, And the next, had he played another year, they were playing Green Bay in Green Bay. And I said, yes,
That
who
was
doesn't
it.
want to do that?
Yeah.
But he had other things to do. So
Yeah, there
Yeah.
we go. Well, I'm always curious. I mean, you guys have been. I think one of the most impressive things I think that I love about you too is how faithful you are. And just your faithfulness to the Lord and faithfulness to walk with people. I mean, Dennis, you've got many stories of that. Susan, you do as well. But I'm so curious as to where did that faith journey begin for the both of you? At what age and what that looked like. So, whoever wants to go first, roll it off. Dennis, go ahead. Where'd that faith story start for you?
I was raised in a family that went to church every Sunday. We were Lutherans, which were known as the Frozen Chosen. Sat in the back row and didn't say anything. Nobody raised
Never
their hands.
heard that before.
Yeah, nobody raised their hands in service and all.
Okay.
But very biblically sound church. We went every Sunday in Sunday school, went to catechism class. Very correct kind of teaching, had a good relationship with my pastor. In fact, I learned later that my pastor, through catechism class, wanted me to go out with his daughter.
Oh, wow.
Oh. He was
didn't-
trying to set y'all up.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
learn that till later when I was trying to get into law school. He was on the board for Capital University up in Columbus. I was trying to get into law school. And, I'd always wished you had a relationship with my daughter. I said, oh, that's weird.
All right.
That's weird.
I thought you wanted me, to get into heaven.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, we did, I'm not saying we did regular Bible studies or anything at home, but we did all, the Advent tree and read verses, and we were very aware of who Jesus was. And I don't have a real story of, standing on a dock and being hit by lightning and the Lord speaking to me. But in that same church on a Good Friday service when I think I was 6 years old. I was sitting in the end of the row, and the choir came down the middle aisle. Had a small choir, maybe 10, 12 people. But one of them was the director of the Army Band, a guy named Gil Mitchell. I still have a
Wow.
trumpet I bought from him. And he was a real good bass, and he sang, and I remember he was singing the verse from, I think, Isaiah 53. He says, he was oppressed, and he was afflicted, yet he openeth not his mouth. And, he's saying, yet he openeth not his mouth. And I went, and it just hit me, and I looked up at the cross, and if I had a moment, that was it, that I realized Jesus did that because he wanted to. They didn't crucify him. He chose to die on the cross for me, and didn't say anything about it, yet he opened not his mouth. It was so pretty, and if there's a moment that is my transformation or, my testimony moment, that was it.
I love that.
That's so
it was
beautiful.
neat.
You were 6?
6, 7, I don't
Wow.
remember exactly. I was a little kid. But
Yeah.
It was the first time I realized who Jesus was and what he did. And
That's a prayer for my kids, is that
Yeah.
that it's just like that for them. There's no like this. I mean, I pray they don't have like some stretches that I had. And I pray that it's just like, hey, yeah, it's always been. You
Yeah.
know? And so
Yeah.
that's why I love hearing
well,
that.
one of my grandsons actually, when we would pray with them when they were little before they went to bed, actually prayed that one night.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting food for poor people, because that's really important. And thanks for getting houses for people that are homeless, because that's really important. And I'm really sorry about your son, but that was important too. And I went, story's over. He's got it. He's got the gospel right there. We need to teach him nothing else.
Yeah.
I think one of my daughters is still trying to figure it out. Well, not this. This was like 2 years ago. She's like, and Lord, I just pray for that Jesus guy. He went through a lot, so we're gonna pray for him tonight. And I was like, yeah, just keep rolling with it, girl. You'll figure that out.
Yeah, you got it.
So it's just right there.
Sweet.
Yeah. So. But
That's great.
Susan, what about you? What's that faith journey look like for you?
Well, if I can just, excuse me. Dennis's mother also played the organ at their church.
Okay.
And his dad was like one of his 3 jobs was cleaning the church. So they were very involved in all that. For me, I really, it's kind of like him. I've always been going to church. My mother made sure we went to church every Sunday. I had 2 parents. My dad supported her in those efforts. My dad didn't really go, and that's a whole different thing. But I think what I point to really, and it's probably why I love the Psalms and Songs story that I was sharing with you, is I remember a song from Vacation Bible School that was, oh, who can make a sunshine? I'm sure I can. Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, who can make a sunshine? No one but God.
Yeah.
It's true. Anyway, and you can plug in all the things, and you could just keep going with it.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
And I don't know why I'm tearing up.
Me too.
But we always went to church, and my mother was very invested in making sure we got Sunday school pins. So Presbyterian church, every year
What
you
are
get a
Sunday
pin.
school pins?
Well, every year I have like 14 of them.
What?
Got 'em all.
Okay.
Calvinist thing.
You go when you have strep throat and you're spreading it around to everybody. It doesn't matter.
Still
You
go? Oh my gosh.
so that you can get a pin. And if we were traveling from Nebraska to Mississippi, we lived in Nebraska. My grandmother's in Mississippi. My grandmother, that was her church where I went to Vacation Bible School. And she had the greatest spiritual influence on me. I loved and adored my grandmother. And her faith was very real to her. She didn't talk to us about it a whole lot, but she prayed with us. And my mother was very quiet. And I later found out that my dad was an atheist, but and that's a whole, thing that I could talk about. But, and he supported, they must have had some kind of an agreement that he would make sure we all went. And it's funny because I thought, this is so weird. For the longest time, I thought just women and children went to church. Now, there were, of course, men there all over the place. The pastor was always a man. There were men all over, but I just had, and I talked to my brother about it, who's also a Christian, and he said, yeah, I felt that way too. That was his perception, was men don't go to church.
Because you just went with your mom.
Well, we I don't know that I didn't think anything weird. That was what it was for us. And it's funny because when my brother came to Christ, Dennis was his example because he said, he's a guy and he's got, all this stuff, but he goes and So, we both had that weird perception. But that was one of the things that really appealed to me about Dennis, because the people that he knew that I knew were all people he knew through his Luther League, which was the youth group for his church. And they sang in the choir, and it was like, it's a confirmation series.
Okay.
And in my life, we went to Sunday school, as I said, for 14 years. When I was 14, it just dawned on me. When I was 14, we moved from Alabama to Virginia, and we found a church there, but it wasn't a place that they had a lot of kids or any kind of a youth group thing or any kind of and so I just kind of had this gap there that I don't think I understood that I had. But it explains why I've been on such a mission to really learn Scripture and to take classes and do things like that, because I missed that whole thing where I could have actually learned what it's all about.
Sure.
When you were younger.
Yeah. But I always believed. I went to Wake Forest. You had to take 2 religion classes. One was a Bible class, either old or new, and I thought, well, I'm a slow reader. I'll never get through the Old Testament.
Right.
So the New Testament. I came in at 18, however old. I didn't know who Paul was. I didn't know. But I've run into a lot of people who don't know who Paul was. They don't know Paul's story. Yeah. I didn't learn that till I was probably in my 30s. I didn't know how he became, an apostle,
Right.
and I didn't know any of that.
And a jailbird.
So I'm good at a jailbird. Yeah, and I didn't know what an epistle was. I didn't know it was a letter. I just saw the word epistle, and I thought, well, that's what they call those things. But I didn't know.
Yeah.
So it's a miracle I passed, but I don't think I got as much as I might have out of it. And then I studied world religions, and there's a truth in all of them. There are pieces of
Yeah.
philosophical truth. It's like the Proverbs. There's certain wisdom, but at the same time, there's that missing piece. And so anyway, I've been on a mission.
Yeah.
For
Working it
all
out.
my life, working it out, and
Love it.
yeah.
I love it. That's faithful.
And that's what I
so
love.
neat.
I love bringing people on the mission with me.
Yeah.
You didn't give us a word, and I was looking forward for
I have
a word.
2 words.
Do you
He
have
has words.
I
Okay,
have 2
worry.
words.
because somebody gave me a word
Come
the
on
other
now,
day.
Susan. Careful now.
Okay, we'll see
Careful
if
now.
your words align with.
Oh,
with
yeah.
You never know. It's just
You
all
never
I've heard.
know.
I've heard today. 2 words. This are the words I heard. So I heard 2. Yeah. I heard 2 words today. The first one was very prominent. It was righteous,
Ooh.
and I thought that was just
For me or Dennis?
both y'all. This is a 2
That's
becoming
a big
1.
word. Oh,
2
yeah.
becoming 1. So righteous, and then just faithful.
Ah.
Faithful. I love those 2 words. I think I've seen that in both y'all's lives. Just you guys walk with such a purity, that righteousness kind of just shines off you guys.
I agree.
I would hope so. I've learned through the years that God connects with us through His grace,
Yeah.
unlimited grace, undeserving by us and all. And our response is through faith. We've got to be faithful. We're called to be faithful. And as inconsistent as we are, I think we've been faithful. I mean, even when I went to college, I remember, I don't know if I went to church the first couple of weeks, and then finally I went to church and looked around. There's a couple of my teammates in here. I was, you talk different in the locker room and in bars and things. And now, look, a couple of guys actually are going to church too, and that was comforting. And they're still good friends to this day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
One
really
of them,
cool.
a big, horrible defensive tackle with a hairy face and stuff, is a Sunday school teacher now.
Oh.
So it's,
The way you describe this guy
Yeah,
sounds like
scary.
like Bigfoot or something like that.
yes.
He is widely known in the Carolina football history and stuff. Everybody's heard of Bud Grissom.
Oh, when we come back to reunions, they look at us. Oh, Grissom, my head hurts just looking at you.
Oh, that's great.
Great guy.
Well, you guys have also have 2 wonderful children. And so as a young parent myself, I got to ask you guys, what is some parenting advice, or just maybe some areas you would strongly urge some young parents to be thinking about as they are parenting along the way.
The thing that pops out to me is I had an inner city hardware store for
Yeah.
22 years.
Which we got to get some stories out of
Yeah,
that
we
thing.
do
Yeah,
need
well-
to hear about that.
I
For
got
sure.
think of which ones I can tell. And which ones I can't. No, but and I know it was a theme of Charlie Kirk's all the time. The problem in the inner city
Yeah.
communities is a lack of fathers.
Yeah.
Only 30% of kids in inner city are raised with two-parent families with fathers. And I think we did a good job of spending time with our kids, taking them places, doing things with them, reading to them, or whatever. Just knowing they're loved by two parents. What you do is not as important as the time you spend with them, because
Yeah.
if you love them and they learn to love you,
Yeah.
things will work out.
Presence is powerful then.
That's good.
And I always supported. I mean, I remember in my hardware store, I had these little girls used to come in just to talk to me, and you know, they didn't have fathers. And one would come in with, she had little, remember pop beads,
Yeah.
little
they're
plastic things they put together.
Oh yeah, you put
balls.
in your hair.
She had
yeah.
these little pigtails. And she was a big, tall, skinny little girl with big, long feet, and she always had a little frilly dress on. And she'd come in and start to and look at me and go, "Well, here I am again."
Oh my gosh, how sweet.
And I'd say, "Oh, how you doing? London? No, that's not my name. Istanbul? What is my name's Paris. You had the hardest time with my name. I can't remember my name's Paris." Anyway,
Oh, how sweet.
she was just one of a couple of real cute little girls that would come in. And, you know, I got to thinking, they needed an adult male in their life.
Sure.
Yeah.
The
love
other
that.
thing that I used to use Dennis as an example in classes that I taught on motivation and things like that, because what I saw that was just natural and so much a part of his everyday was that he mentored young men. He had thought he was going to be a football coach. And then his uncle needed him in the store, and he ended up kind of landing there and staying there, and then bought the store.
Yeah.
But he hired all the kids in the neighborhood, boys, and he helped them get their GEDs. He helped them with, and it was wonderful, and they had great relationships. And I think that was the place where his real gift was. Hardware. He's not a handyman like. Guys that do that stuff, they're like, a hardware store.
Yeah.
I didn't know a
love
sing
hardware
trap from a rat
stores.
trap.
Hey,
He
how
learned
funny.
a lot, but
You
he
just got stuck in there, Dennis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just was stuck. But that was his mission field, really. And
Yeah,
that's
he was
where
placed
had-
there for a
for
different
sure,
reason.
for
Yeah.
sure. And yeah, so
So just a lot of time. Presence
quality
and time.
time.
Quality time.
I will tell you this too, that I was the oldest of 6 kids.
Yeah.
And I babysat for my family, but I babysat for neighbors and things like that. And I had I thought I was going to have a dozen children. I read Cheaper by the Dozen and thought, oh, that sounds
yeah.
so fun.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then I
Then
had
Casey
one.
came along.
Yeah.
And you know something? He was a very, very good kid. And I was ill prepared for a child that was different from me. Because my father was very authoritarian. My mother was not, but my mother said, when your dad gets home.
Oh, for
and
sure.
so, and he was not harsh at all. He was very fair, but and Casey just didn't respond to it. If he didn't want to do it, he wasn't going to do it.
Oh, he was stubborn.
And when he was young, when he
Wow.
was young, like 2, I said
call
he
it
went through the resolute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I like
it's
that.
and it has paid off hugely. But I didn't know what to do with it, and I saw a class advertised called Children of the Challenge.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
for the first 9 years that we had kids, Dennis worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Wow.
We had he was gone 12 hours. He left at 7 in the morning and he came back at 7 at night, Monday through Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And sometimes he would have the kids with him there because I started working. I was working part-time and it all worked out. But I said, I need this. I don't know what it is, but I need this class. And you're going to have to go with me because we've got to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And that is hugely important, I think. Raising kids, you have to be on the same page
sure.
with your spouse. And I learned a lot from that, just about encouragement, for one thing. Encouragement is different from praise. And that's a great thing to understand. But also consequences, allowing consequences to take place without, like Casey, this is a story that I share with a family that we got to be good friends with because they had the very same experience. He was always too late for my friend to pick him up to take him to preschool because he wasn't dressed and he was dawdling and he wasn't on time. And I said,
Oh no.
okay, the next time, if you're not ready, you're old enough to figure this out. You know how long it takes. And so if you're not ready, you're just going to take your clothes with you and get dressed on the way. And he said, yeah, okay. So the next morning he was not ready. And so it's 40 degrees out and he goes out in his underpants with his, this is preschool. Okay? He's like 4 or something.
I love it.
And he carries it in the car and he dresses on the way and he's ready every time after that.
What?
Because he's
didn't
in
wanna-
charge
yeah.
of
This
But
was
he
back
was-
before kids wore pajamas to school.
Yeah,
Like they do
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't
Now,
matter.
now
Yeah.
they wear
Go in your
pajama
PJs.
bottoms and
Yeah,
flip-flops.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But the point is that you
Wow.
have to not say, well, I told you. And if you
Yeah.
hadn't done that, you
Yeah.
just say, all right, well, go, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Go on.
And,
Wow.
if you think they're going to be cold and you say, take your coat, and he says, I don't need a coat, you say, okay.
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah, I
get
love
cold
that.
and they're like, I think I'll take a coat this time. But all that stuff was not intuitive to me. I had to learn it.
Yeah.
I realized that I need a lesson. I need to have it pointed out to me, and then I can carry it out. But
Yeah.
Just think of Borelli's father, who
Here we
told
go.
him, you're going to
That
be
must have
cold
been-
if you don't have a coat.
Yeah.
He would take his shirt off then.
Yeah,
So that-
that's actually true. That's actually.
Oh,
There's a story about that. My mother's like, "Yeah, you never wore any coats outside." I was like, "Maybe because you told me I had to wear one."
yeah,
Oh
there
my
you go.
gosh.
You would have been the one that sent me to
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
we're running a 5K, so let me wear a 20-pound vest to make it harder.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Borelli, it reminds me so much of Earl,
Yeah.
Early Bird, the one
yeah.
that Casey did the Christmas show on,
Oh, yeah.
who is the only person I know, maybe Borelli too, who has no fear of anyone
Wow.
in the world
Yeah.
for any reason. And he showed me that many times at the hardware store,
Yeah.
looking down gun barrels and things.
Oh my goodness.
That's a mess.
Yeah.
That's a mess. So, what was one of the hardest things about raising Casey then?
Is a strong-willed child.
Yeah.
But the payoff of that is that he was not subject to peer pressure ever.
Sure.
He was not subject to my pressure, Dennis's pressure, but he had a good moral compass. He had a good, he was basically a good kid. But he was going to do what he was going to do, and you had to learn to let him figure that out. And it's paid off hugely because he just was always very independently driven and focused. And
Yeah.
he was always close to the Lord from the time he was little. We would pray with him. Sometimes, we would pray with him, and he had children's hour with the pastor. They would make appointments where you could come in,
Oh, cool.
and he would come in and have these deep conversations.
Yeah,
with
he would
the-
ask.
No
ask
way.
Real
good
deep questions.
spiritual questions, and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a picture, probably I think still on my piano somewhere, but of Casey in the cherub choir
Oh.
wearing a little white robe, and he's
Oh
like,
my gosh.
like this because he said, "You can make me go, but you can't make me sing."
Oh my
That
gosh.
was the caption under that picture. Made me go, but you can't make me sing.
That's fantastic.
So he didn't sing like you then?
He does sing. Every now and then I'm in church and he sings pretty well. Yeah.
Wow.
He just didn't want to be in the choir. It
Yeah.
wasn't his choice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to be forced to do things.
Anything.
No.
Yeah.
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 I
yeah.
can understand
It was
that.
things like
Yeah.
if I said, do you have homework? He'd say, well, that's it. I'm not going to do it now.
Just because you asked about
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
Mercy.
Wow.
Yeah. And I swore I wasn't going to talk about Casey. I adore Casey, so I don't want to
No,
cast
we
any.
adore him too.
We can throw him
It
under
all
the bus.
turned out well, didn't
It did. It turned out
all
great.
turned out well, and, we
And
were
you
very
learned a lot of
delighted by that.
patience.
Oh,
That's why
didn't-
you're so calm,
Oh,
I feel
that-
like. You are like one of the most calm and peaceful people I think I've been around. You don't agree with that?
Nobody would agree with that.
I
That's
feel
so
like you
funny.
have such a peaceful presence about you.
Well, I do have a lot of peace.
Yeah.
I do, and that's but nobody who spends enough time with me would
Yeah.
describe me.
We
as
need to spend
peaceful.
more time together then.
Because I'm kind of fiery in the moment sometimes, but
A little
yeah.
feisty.
I haven't seen that in you yet.
Well, I've learned patience, as you said.
Patience. Yeah.
Dennis, how would you describe
Yeah,
her, Dennis?
Dennis
Hang
looked
around
at me
when
crazy.
I leave the refrigerator door open all night sometime. No, she came from a different background than I.
Yeah.
She had a military father who
Sure.
was, when I first met him, he says, "Hi, my first name's Colonel."
You can call me by my first
Yeah,
name.
you call me by my
Colonel.
first name, Colonel.
He was just joking, though. He had a good sense of humor. He really was joking.
No, he did. We got along great. But,
Okay, good.
but he was a strict guy.
Yeah.
So Kristen's, I feel like, is very different. I mean, to
Yes,
say the least, right?
absolutely. In fact, yes.
Well, what was it like raising her? I mean,
So much easier. Well, only because the thing is that Casey, he didn't want a whole lot of people around, but he wanted me around. And now he doesn't. It just kills me. No, not that he doesn't want me around, but as he's very independent. Like he had a couple of friends that he wanted to hang out with, but Kristen she just entertained herself. When she was months old and could sit up, she could sit and play by herself for an hour. Casey was always wanting that interaction, of course, and he was alone for 2 years. So
Right.
the first couple of years was constant, and he was so busy. He walked at 9 months, and he was just like just
Ready
busy.
to go, yeah.
And my friend had this child who slept all the time. And I thought, and she actually went to the pediatrician and said, is she ever going to learn anything? Because she's asleep all the time. And the doctor said, I have never had a mother come in
Right.
and complain because her kid slept too much.
yeah, right.
But anyway, she was just different. She's, your kids, you have 4 kids.
Oh, yeah,
all
very
4
different.
of them. Even
Also
your
very different.
twins who look identical are
Oh,
very different from
different.
each other. Yeah.
We'd come home and Kristen would have chairs set up in her room with dolls sitting, and she would be in the front and go, "So," she'd be teaching
Having
them
a
like
meeting.
a class.
Oh,
We're
my
having a meeting
gosh.
today. And she'd talk to them, and no one was there.
So she was doing that. She was doing her
And she
Fox
still
News
does
early
that.
on.
So
yeah.
my job was to do training seminars, and I was often, taking things with me, and at that age, she didn't know what that looked like, though. She was already doing that on her own, yeah.
But
Wow.
little did we know back then that Casey had the same kind of speaking skills. I mean,
Oh, my word, he
speaks
does.
extemporaneously all the time now, and we go, "Wow."
Every time he gets up and talks, I don't care what it's about, I get emotional.
Oh,
I just feel like he's one of the best speakers I've ever heard.
It's because he believes what he's
Ever.
saying. I'm
Yes.
sure. He's
It's
not
very
going to get up
genuine.
and tell you some story because that's what you want to hear.
Right.
yeah.
No, that's how I
Yeah,
experience
if Casey tells
it.
it's from his heart. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But then you get him one-on-one, he's mumbling half the time. Like, what did you just say, dude? Dude, speak up, man. We're right here. Like, you're blasting on stage, and now I can't even hear what you're saying right now. You know that's true.
Yeah, I know that's true, and I have I was born with a congenital hearing loss that is unusual. I don't hear low conversational
Well, then you don't hear
tones.
your son at all.
Oh, he speaks really low.
Yes, and both of them mumble, and both of them speak, and then they accuse me of not listening.
Well, you're picking up that habit of mumbling. You end your sentences, and I can't hear the end of them.
We both need hearing aids. That's going to be our Christmas present to each other this year.
There we go. There we go.
See if they can fix that.
We both need hearing aids, but only one wants a hearing aid.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so.
He
Yeah.
thinks he doesn't need one.
So tell me, how long have you guys been married?
Next March 21st will be 50 years.
50 years.
Man, let's go.
What the heck?
But we dated for, 2 years?
Couple of
before
years,
that?
yeah.
2 years?
So,
So what would you say to somebody about staying married? Like, how have you stayed married for so long and you still seem to actually enjoy each other? Like, what does that look like?
well, yeah, marry somebody you'll enjoy.
I mean, that's important.
Yeah, for sure.
But you got married pretty young.
No, we didn't.
Oh, you
we
didn't?
were actually
Okay.
older than
26, 27.
Oh,
everybody was
26,
getting married
okay.
right out of college, and neither
Yeah.
of us did. And I think that's a piece to it. Growing up a little bit by yourself, or at least not just kind of moving from school to
Right.
being married to somebody. But I thoroughly enjoy him. He's funny. I mean, he
is funny.
is fun and funny, and everybody enjoys his story. He is Dennis. The secret is marrying somebody like Dennis, because I'm not that enjoyable.
Oh my gosh, that is That's not
Susan,
true.
don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
He is the easiest person in the world to get along with. He really
Wow.
is. He's a servant.
Yeah.
He wants to keep people, and that can be annoying sometimes. If I'm having a fight with Kristen, he wants to say, "Oh, just y'all just calm down, just
He's a
calm
pe-
down." I'm like,
he's
we
the
need to work this out,
peacemaker.
and if it
Yeah.
takes, but he's very much that. Well, peacemaker is different, I think. Sometimes because
Peacekeeper,
it's-
peacemaker. I
but
don't know.
he wants everybody to be happy. He doesn't
Yeah.
like, but he also is a servant. He does things for people. He's intuitive about things about people.
She wants to solve problems. I want to just eliminate them.
He
Yeah.
wants to pretend they're not
Just
there.
get 'em out of
There's
there.
a
Which-
difference.
yeah.
Pretending they're not there is not eliminating or solving. but
I feel you, Dennis. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, it was no big deal. Shower's broke. It's okay. We'll figure it out.
So you stink for a day or two. Right?
Oh my.
You know what? You stunk last
Okay,
week.
that would drive me nuts. Yeah, I see you. I see you. Yeah.
no. But the other thing is growing up and just I was a trainer. I taught classes for 40 years on all kinds of soft skills, interpersonal skills. And the first class I followed my mother's footsteps, which is, again, another story. But the first class I was asked to teach on my own was an effective listening class. And it was a day-long thing. And I said, I don't know anything about listening. I've never taken a class in listening. And they said, well, take the class this month and you can teach it next month.
Oh,
Because I
boy.
had taught enough and that's what I can do. But I realized that the Lord has me teaching the things I most need to know. And when you understand about interpersonal communication and the uselessness of attacking and counterattacking and criticizing and all the things that people do that blow up relationships, you learn not to do that and not to say things that you're going to have to regret later
Yeah.
on. And anyway,
That
so
takes
I,
a lot
so
of self-control.
yeah, I don't understand people who assassinate their spouse. And you see that, you hear that happen, and it's awful and it's ugly.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And you got to go
good.
home with them.
And
Yeah.
well, and for a
Even though
while,
they
and then
deserve
after a
it
while,
sometimes.
nobody wants to go home with anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So I thoroughly enjoy Dennis, and we
Okay,
enjoy each
so-
other's company.
We know what she thinks. What do you think about how have you guys stayed married for so long and been happy and overcome challenges and all the things?
I don't know that I ever had a girlfriend who liked, loved, took care of me like she does. And I'm reassured of it through little things every day, all the time. I don't know if that's a simple answer, but that's,
Yeah.
That's exactly. That's
The
what
simple truth.
I tell people about Dennis that was different about from anybody else I'd ever gone out with, was that his interest is making me happy. He just he cooked for me. He did all kinds of things that were, but I could just everybody else was just wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
and I like
no,
that,
I feel
that she
I
appreciates
understand
it.
that.
Even now, to the extent that when we have a bag of French fries, I'll eat the little short ones so she gets the nice long ones.
That's
Or I'll eat
weird.
the half a cashew so she'll have the whole ones, you know.
The
Even down to-
secret to
kind
marriage
of
right here, French fries and
Yeah.
cashews.
Just
Eat the short
consider
French
now.
fries.
Yeah.
It all comes down to food with him.
I mean, I love food
Yeah,
too,
sorry.
so I get that.
Food and music, the rest is fluff.
So wait, then that's actually good segue into how did you start singing and how did that come about in your life?
My mother was an organist. We sang
Okay.
a little bit at home, not, nothing formal. But,
Okay.
music's always been a part of my life like that. I played in the band in high school,
What instrument?
trumpet and
Trumpet,
baritone
okay.
horn.
You still
Oh,
do, by the
wow.
way. You said in high school. You still do.
Well,
still
I
do?
haven't since I just started now.
Yeah, he's in a
Okay.
band.
Yeah,
he's
we
he's
started-
got some concerts coming up.
Yeah, we
What?
started a little lounge band, and then there's a couple bands who want horns. you
Most
know.
interesting man right here.
No way. I want to
Yeah.
come listen. I
Oh.
love that kind of
He
stuff.
said, "Well,
I'll let you know if it's
Okay.
worth coming listening to. No,
Okay.
We're pulling it together.
But he did have to sing in the Christmas thing.
Okay.
His mother made him sing. During,
Oh, at the Advent Christmas service, yeah.
Okay.
In this Lutheran church, we used to have a service where we sang, Norwegian songs, German songs, French songs, and then afterwards you'd get into the church basement, and you'd go to the French table, and they'd have French goodies and German,
Oh, yum.
Lebkuchen and Stollen and all these
my
different German
gosh.
things. And I had to sing a solo with the big fat girl.
Oh, wow.
That was only half of the trauma. I also had to wear
hold her
lederhosen.
hand. Hold her hand.
Oh, when you were little, I'm sure that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, not.
And I had to wear lederhosen, which are those German things that the straps. And when I was a kid, you didn't wear shorts.
Yeah, no boys wore
No,
shorts.
I almost didn't play basketball because you had to wear shorts.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
You didn't
were
wanna
like,
wear
that's
shorts.
not
But
for
she
me.
and she wasn't. The agreement was you had to sing or you couldn't.
Or I couldn't join the bowling league.
Yeah.
Then I never got to join the bowling league anyway.
Oh,
We couldn't afford it.
no. Oh, man.
But yeah, that was traumatic.
Wow.
Josef, lieber Josef, mein Hilfig mir wegen dein Kinderlein.
It's still stuck in your head.
Yeah, I had to sing it
So
German,
much trauma.
because
Oh,
my
my
mother was German.
word.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and we were really not attending church. When we were dating, I was aware that was a significant part of his life, which was one of the appeals for me because
Yeah.
I had this missing piece that had kind of fallen by the wayside, so we had Casey, and we're like, we've got to find a church. I mean, he's like a month old or something. We've got to find a church, and so we found one near us that had a wonderful music program. Just by default, we just sort of
happenstance,
ran in there.
yeah.
And a new worship leader who was Methodist, and he used to say, "Sing this with the fervor of a Methodist." But he was a great, great guy, and they had a cherub choir. Hence Casey in the robe and Kristen when they were like 3. It was for, and then up for a few years. And I said, Dennis, you need to think about joining the choir. And he was busy. He was working 6 days a week, and he was not sure he was enthusiastic about it. But he came and he loved Walt, the music director, he learned so much from Walt about really singing well. And
Wow.
so then he's been in choirs ever since. Every church we've been in, he's been in the choir and used that gift.
Still to this day.
Yeah.
Crushing
Yep,
it, Big
still
D.
to this
Love it.
day. He
Love it.
sang a couple weeks ago?
Oh,
When was it?
I'll
Months?
do a national anthem every now and
Yeah,
then.
the national anthem. I love it when you
Twist
do
my
that.
arm.
Yeah.
I love
So,
it.
did you guys expect both when raising Casey and Kristen to have such successful kids?
That's a really
I've
good
been
question.
thinking that a lot. But now that it's happened, are we
It makes sense.
not really surprised, but pleased and just satisfied that they've turned in our grandchildren. I mean,
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
my
you
next
have a lot
question
of
was going to be,
grandchildren.
what's the best part about being a grandparent?
Oh, so
'Cause you guys crush
sweet.
it.
Yeah.
I don't know that there is the best part. It's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Just the one-on-one things that when they do neat things and then include you and call you by your name and I mean,
What do they
But-
call you both? Do you have like special grandparent names?
she's Danny, I'm Grandpa D. She's
Oh.
Danny. You can tell that story.
Danny came out of Katie's first effort to say granny, and she
Okay.
said, "Dammy." And I
Hold on a second.
Oh
said, "We can work with that."
Yeah,
but,
we've doctored up a little
yeah.
bit.
So and Danny was one of my mother's best friends, and she was the most Christian of any of my mother's friends, and I
Wow.
loved her. And
That's
her
cool.
her name was Georgianne, but Danny was a nickname. She didn't like her name, so she went by Danny. And I thought, I like that. Let's go with
How
that. And it goes
sweet.
well with D. So Danny. And
Yeah,
D.
Grandpa D. I like that.
And another thing we love about them is they are not shy about interacting with adults, and they treat us just like we're friends. I mean, they'll introduce us to their friends. These are my grandparents,
They're
From the time they were little,
proud.
that was Ford at preschool at like daycare when he was
Yeah.
3. These are my grandparents, and they're anyway. We adore them.
That's so
That's
much fun.
such a special relationship.
It is, and that's why it's so nice to be here.
Oh,
we
my
had
goodness,
them come
yeah.
visit us, and we loved that one-on-one time with different ones, but being down here with all of them, and even just driving them to practice and things, just taking a few minutes here and there my grandmother was so huge in my life. Even though she didn't, the other cousins lived in Mississippi, and we only saw her once or twice a year. But when she'd come visit, she'd stay for a few weeks. And I think of all my siblings, I had the closest relationship with her. I'd go visit with her and go to church with her, and she'd have me go to her church circle with her. And one of the stories that I remember about her when she had all the grandkids in the car, she would just take us off places. She used to take, like, some of the cousins there. She would just go to Atlanta from Meridian, Mississippi. Said, we're going to go to Atlanta for the day or something.
Wow.
Or she'd take us to the beach or to some fishing hole. And one day she had all of us at this fishing hole that you would have loved. Huge, frigid lake that you would dive off of something way too high to be diving
love
off.
that.
Oh, no.
And a pond no bigger than this room where you just pull out fish after
Justifying.
fish after
Wow.
fish.
Yeah. Oh, my
But anyway,
goodness.
we're on the way home, and she starts having chest pains because she's had a couple of heart attacks at this point in her life. And
Oh,
she
boy.
said, I'm having a spell. Children, y'all get on the car, and let's all pray that we get home.
Oh, my God.
we would get up, we didn't have seatbelts, so you get on the floor of the back seat behind there so you didn't get pitched out there.
Oh my gosh.
If we had a wreck. So,
Wow.
but she prayed, and she knew Jesus,
Yeah.
and her faith was real. I have no doubt that my mother's faith was real, but she didn't talk about it, and I think that's cultural as much as anything. And that
Yeah.
was something I had to get used to. But I wanted to say, when you all were talking about our kids, the best gift that God has given us, I think, in all of their lives is good Christian friends around them that, you all hold each other together.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for everybody here and the whole culture here, which, Casey he and Stephen
He did.
established. But Stephen was a huge piece of Casey's life when he was in college. And that's, again,
Yeah.
another story. But
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you guys have really gotten invested in that. I think one of the questions I have for you guys is, what have you learned over the years of just like investing in people, mentoring people? What are some lessons that you've learned through that process?
Because you both have also been a part of our mentor.
Yeah, and you
group
guys have been doing that your whole
program.
lives. It hadn't just been the
Too,
past couple
yeah.
of years of movement. Obviously, you guys have been mentoring and discipling and walking with people for a long time. So, what are some lessons you've learned through that process?
I don't know that, like at the hardware store, that wasn't intentional. These were just guys I had a relationship with. I worked with every day.
But that's
Organic.
mentoring, right?
Yeah.
They worked for me, and I had some that were great guys and some that were
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
I had one guy who was a convicted murderer. Some rough guys. Jason
Yeah.
would shoot guns in the warehouse with these guys.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And things, but to the core, once you know him, you know their life situation. He was a murderer because he beat up a guy who hit him in the head with an axe a week before, and then he saw him and beat him up anyway. But
Wow.
inner city
Yeah.
stories that
Sure.
I could tell you dozens and dozens of. But I'm glad to say I still have a relationship with most of those guys today.
That's a
And-
testament.
Yeah.
Can I don't know if you're going to say it.
Interject. Go ahead.
Well, one of his guys who worked at one store anyway came to him after the fact, after he was no longer working there, and apologized to him, and he had become a believer. Dennis had given him a Bible, and one that he could understand. It was a life application Bible with notes and an NIV translation.
Yeah, I love that.
And he came, and he had been saved, but also he wanted to apologize for stealing from Dennis, because most of his employees did steal from him, or at least a handful of them did.
Most of your friends just stole
There's
from
some
you.
stuff out the back door. It was
I used to be on a traveling softball team, and every Saturday we'd travel, and I'd go, how many thousands is it going to cost me this week?
you'd have to hire somebody to come in and run the store for the week.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
So
Yeah. So Susan, what about
So-
you? As you've kind of been walking with people over the years, what kind of things have you learned? Process?
I never wanted to be a teacher
Yeah.
and never thought I would be, but I sort of fell into it. I don't do well with kids, but I do well with adults.
Yeah.
And so I was teaching because I just sort of landed in it, and it was so fulfilling and so fun and easy, and paid well. And I always felt like I'm teaching people business stuff. I'm teaching customer service. I'm teaching interpersonal skills. But my whole thing was teaching them stuff that they need to know in life, and hoping that they would take it home.
Yeah.
And so, it's what I've learned about myself over the years is that if I'm excited or enthusiastic about something, I want everybody to be in it with me. And
That's
somebody
how
said
I
to
am
me,
too.
she said,
Yeah.
the good friend said you're a connector, and I never thought that, but I want my friends to know each other. I want them to come with me. I'm an invitational evangelist. Come to church with me. Come to this
Yeah.
Bible
Yeah.
study with me. And that's just what I do. And it's so nice to be able to, because basically you're building community.
Yeah, for sure.
And not necessarily intentionally community, but it's like we had nothing like a Bible study in my neighborhood that you went to in Lake Barcroft, and I invited 40 people in my closer little circle there, not my circle, but my community, and 20-something of them showed up. And all of a sudden you go to cocktail parties and everybody's saying, you need to come to her Bible study, and you need to, meet. Here's this one lady introduced me, wonderful Jewish lady introduced me to somebody, and she said, you met her, or he introduced me to him or something, and she said, well, Susan introduced me to Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's cool.
And I thought, that's just awesome.
Yeah.
So it's building community, and it's what I do.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. So,
I want to ask you a question.
yeah, go ahead.
Yes, this is what
Yeah.
he's been waiting
Ask
for.
me a question.
Okay, I would like to know about your faith journey.
Yeah.
You're so solid now, and I don't know,
Sure.
How that.
Yeah,
Came
no,
about.
great
Do we
question.
have time for that? That's
Yeah, I can rattle
a
it
good
off. I
story.
can rattle it off. No time. No, I mean, both my parents, Bible believing Christians and whatnot. My parents presented the gospel to us at an early age in our household. I mean, it was like we went to church. I remember specifically getting up early in the morning. My dad would get us up and study Proverbs. And now I was not into any of it. I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe we're up at this time of the morning. This guy's trying to teach us about this weird Proverbs stuff. And, we'd go to church because we respected our parents, but that was probably the extent of our, the faith journey at that point. But I went to a Christian high school. So I was immersed in it, always around it. But I think the way I view it is that with four brothers, and with four brothers came a lot of friends. So there was just always a lot of opportunity to just get a lot of teenagers together and have a really awesome ideas that led you into a lot of trouble. And so it's like Jesus never fit in that, And so I think it always was just kind of over there, if you will. It was always just kind of off on the side. I'm like, when Sunday would roll around, we'd go to church because, my dad, even though he's about 5'6" and 145 pounds, he could still beat snot out of us. So we went to church. And my mom's about 6 foot, and so she could beat the snot out of us too. So we had no hope. We had to go to church. And so that was kind of the upbringing. It was we went to church, but we never really kind of dove into it or whatnot. And then for me, when I went off to college, I went to Gardner-Webb for a year to go play football, and that situation, it just kind of sports and me just kind of burned out, and found myself transferring to UNC Charlotte the next year. And in that process, I thought, man, I'm gonna have no more sports in my life. I've been playing sports my whole life. It was a huge part of who I was. Just in my family, we wrestled, we played baseball, we played football. It was there was never a season we weren't playing sports. So it was a big part of my life. But when I got done playing, and I was going to UNC Charlotte, in my mind, I was like, man, I've got nothing holding me back. I can just go have as much fun as I want to have. And for me, fun was was that party scene. It was hanging out till late hours of the night where nothing good happened. And
Let me guess.
yeah,
Fighting, drinking, and chasing girls.
that's fighting, drinking, and chasing girls is
remember those
exactly
days.
right. Yeah, and we did it a lot and hard, and we went after it. And for me, it was crazy. We were doing a lot of fighting, drinking, and chasing girls, way too much of it. And I was living in a house with my brother, and really it was 2 drug dealers in that house at the time. And I had like a little side wing to this house that had no air conditioner or nothing. I was not even supposed to be there. The landlord, when he came around, I would hide because I was like not supposed to live in that house. But it was like I transferred so late, needed a place to stay, so I stayed in that house. It was just a mess. And I was sitting in my room one night, and really we'd just come off like a pretty heavy bender, if you will. And I was sitting there in my room. I remember exactly where I was. And I was about to go to bed, and I had this little futon pull-out like couch bed thing. It was terrible. So, and I just felt this like strange sense of conviction, or what I didn't know what it was at the time. This energy come over me, and I was like, man, I don't feel good about myself. I don't feel good about what I'm doing in life at all. And I haven't felt this ever. And the only thing I knew to do was I called my dad, and I was like, hey, Pops. I was like, oh, man, I don't know why I need to do this, but, and I'm always curious if you actually remember this conversation. But I just said like, hey, I'm just going to tell you how I'm living my life. And so I said, here's who I think I am, just kind of laying it out there, like, very just arrogant, prideful person. Here's what I've been doing. Here's my relationship with drugs and alcohol. Here's my relationship with women. And yeah, that's it. And I just I remember just speaking for quite a while. And my dad, who can talk to a brick wall for as long as anybody else, I don't remember anything except for this one phrase in that conversation. And it was, don't let this be the last time the kingdom of God calls your name. And then I remember, from my memory, he hung up. And I was like, well, doggone,
Mic
that
drop.
son of a gun. He did it again.
No follow-up.
Yeah.
He followed up, actually, just not me knowing. But that night, after that, he hung up. We hung up. I just remember being like, everything that I learned about the gospel, everything that I've been taught from coaches, my parents, Bible classes. We had like really extensive Bible classes at Charlotte Christian, like apologetics classes. We had like we had tons of different classes. It was like all of a sudden the Lord decided to just explode all of it in my face. And I just remember that night it was like picture after picture after picture of the gospel just exploding in my mind. And I just said to the Lord, I said, I don't know who you are. I know a lot about you because I've just been around all these people that talk about you, but I have no idea who you are. I said, but what I know is right now, I'm pretty sure that I'm tired of living the way I'm living. I'm pretty sure that this is you calling me, and I'm going to jump. And what I do know is that your promise says that you'll be there and that you'll catch me, and that like, you won't let my foot slip. And so I jumped. And I remember waking up the next morning, and it was like, hey, I was like, I'm done with all this. Talking to my roommates, my brother was like, I'm done with all this, and yeah, that's the route I'm going. And they're like, yeah, okay, you're still high or something like that. I'm like, no. Well, hey, that could be true, but I think I'm pretty much done. And I went onto campus. That was a Sunday night. Monday morning, I went to campus, and I was like, man, I know I can't do this alone. Like I have to have people to do this with. Obviously growing up on teams, like you just have to, you need teammates. Mm-hmm. And I had teammates in that, what'd you call it? What was it? Something fighting and girls?
Fighting, drinking, and
Drinking,
chasing girls.
Yeah, I had a bunch of teammates in that, so I realized I need some teammates here. And I saw some signs for, some ministries, and I, saw one that was happening the next day. And the next day I said, well, I don't know if I'll be here that day, so I need to go that day. And I went into a college ministry. And my dad did follow up on was the next day he called a neighbor of ours that they're still, my dad and his dad still lived next to each other. He said, I think my son might have just got saved last night. I'm not sure, but he was like, your oldest son, doesn't he do ministry up at UNC Charlotte? He said, yeah. He said, would you mind him reaching out to my son and just seeing what's going on? And I happened to actually walk through that ministry that night, and he was there.
Oh.
Wow.
And so he was like, hey, how you doing? So we ended up getting lunch, and that guy just, started discipling me. And man, I would say for the next like 4 years, I just really got discipled hard. And, faith was challenged. That first year, my faith was challenged a lot. Because that first year, I still had to go back home to the place I was living. And there was still a lot of just drinking, fighting, and girls in that house. And that was really, really, really hard, except for like a month and a half to 2 months later I walked upstairs to go see ask my brother, what time we're going to get up and go work out. And he's sitting there in his bed, and he's got his Bible out. And I didn't even know he had a Bible at the time. And I was like, what's going on? He was like, dude, I'm tired. And I was like, oh, okay. He was like, I think I'm done doing this. And I was like, thank God, dude. I was like, I was getting tired of doing this by myself. Like, I was this close to just being like, I'm going back. That's way easier, just doing what I was doing. And he gave his life to the Lord. And that was like a miracle, because I was struggling. I remember calling my mom, being like, I can't do this. This is too hard. Like, it is so much easier to just be that person that was just, I guess in a sense, like enjoying life like that. That's all I knew. And it was so much easier to do that. And this whole like walking with Jesus thing, it was hard. It was weird. I felt very strange in that world, because I just didn't feel like I fit in with anybody. I had no friends. I mean, I was leaving friends I had for a long time. And then I was like trying to figure out this life over here. And, super thankful that the Lord, did that in my brother's life, because at the time I was like, man, I had nobody. And so that was a huge relief. And I remember it was funny, the day we left that house, like we like threw some trash on the side of the road for the trash man to pick it up and like, turn the keys in. And we both looked at each other and like, I am so like, it was that look of like, holy crap, we made it. Like that the devil lived at that house, and he just beat the brakes off us every single day. Just wore a slap out. And when we left that house, man, things got a little easier. Like, it wasn't like I was on constant attack and just having to say no and all this kind of stuff. And honestly, since then, the Lord has just been he's just been so faithful to reveal himself to me, to honestly, like, keep my eyes on him. I wouldn't say that I've like gone out of my way to be like, I'm going to make sure I'm always looking at God. I feel like the Lord has always showed himself to me. Every turn I've taken in life, it's literally been like the Lord is just right there smacking me in the face and just being like, hey, I got something for you. And for me, my dad tells me all the time, he's like, your greatest gift could also be your worst nightmare, is that, you're an all in or all out kind of guy. And so, for a long time, I was all in on some things that were getting me in a lot of trouble, and they were stealing a lot of life from me. And then, now it's like the Lord is just like taking me all in with him and showing me so much life. And so, I think the Lord's just been faithful to me, to grow me, to teach me, to whenever I open up his word, it's not boring. And I know a lot of people have experienced like dry seasons of walking with God. And I don't know, for some reason, every time I open up God's word, it's like, it's the most exciting thing to me. And every time I wake up and take a breath, I'm like, oh man, like God's got a mission for me today. I'm alive. Like, this is awesome. What are we going to do today? And so, I don't know. I just thoroughly enjoy life. I thoroughly enjoy walking with God through life. And so I've just experienced it. Like, God is the most, when you're walking with God, it's the most fun you're going to have in life. Like, period, hands down. I have never had more fun than when I'm walking with God. He is always the most exciting thing.
Isn't it fun now, too, to watch a professional or college football game and see guys come up, and meet before the game, both teams, and have like a public prayer meeting
Yeah, for
on
sure.
TV?
Yeah.
Or they interview a quarterback and says, so, tell us about the game today. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Jesus, my Lord and Savior. I wouldn't be here without it.
Yeah, I love it.
Good, yeah, getting bold, because in my walk, my two big words are humility and courage.
Yeah.
I need the humility to seek
You do a great job of that.
seeking Christ, and the courage to live out what he
And
tells
go after
me.
it. Yeah.
And it's the courage part I
Yeah, I
kind
love
of
it.
have to struggle with. And I love it when other guys show more courage than I feel like I have. I know the last church we went to, the mantra kind of was to seek him constantly, serve him faithfully,
Yeah.
and share him boldly.
Well, that's what I love about God, too. Like, I think when you take steps of courage for God, man, he is going to show up 1,000 times more.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why I say, like, I love life. Like, jumping off like 50-foot waterfalls, 60-foot waterfalls. I love life, And so I take the same principle. Like, I'm going to jump so high for God, because I know he's going to catch me every time. Like, he's never going to catch me. And so, just taking chances for God has been one of those things. I remember one thing I wrote down when I was in college, and it's still imprinted in my brain. And the word was available. I put it on a 3x5 notebook, note card, and I just wrote in real thick blue ink, and I put available. And that's my thing is I always want to be available to be used by God because he will take, for me, I wasn't, I love that scripture talks about like not born of noble birth or anything of that nature, right? It's like he takes this little, 5'9". I don't even know what you call me. I got some Italian blood in me. I got some random like redneck blood in me. I don't know. I'm a mutt, And he chooses to talk to me and use me on a daily basis. And I'm like, man, that is just a blast. I don't know what else. I don't know how else I could have any more fun than talking to the creator of the universe. So yeah, that's in a nutshell my story. And the Lord has been faithful and continues to be. And I pray that my kids experience the same thing. And, I got a strong, incredible wife that is a powerhouse for the Lord.
She is.
You do.
So she's grabbing onto it slowly but surely. I think I'm like, no, you're a lioness. She's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, you'll figure it out. Don't worry. The Lord's got some mighty plans for you. So I get to go home to that every day. It's beautiful.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad
Thank
you know
you
that.
guys so
We
much.
need to do a podcast with you here.
I
Just
literally
so-
said that
She
to
did.
him.
She said that.
We're
yeah.
gonna do
All
that.
right, we'll
And
make it happen.
God doesn't waste anything. The
Yeah.
place of me not knowing who Paul is, when
Yeah.
I used that recently, and because people who know me now don't know what I didn't know,
Yeah.
but I know what they don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you want to say, look, I was where you are, and he's
Yeah.
you can connect that with people. And
No
I
doubt.
love. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks for
That's
asking.
great. I love all those little God things the way He answers. I call those little presents from God.
Oh,
It's
for
like
sure.
a little gift for the moment, for the day, for the whatever it is
Yeah.
you're about. But yeah,
That's great.
God's so
I love you're
faithful.
available. I love that.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hey, well, let me ask you guys questions. You guys have any more dreams left in life for you?
Wow.
Usually, here's the question. The question is a life well lived. What does that look like for you? I feel like you guys have crushed that already.
Yeah.
So I'm in my mind, I'm like, what do we got left? You guys have crushed it. You still got a lot of life left. I know you do.
I've lived a life well blessed.
Yeah.
You will meet no one more average than me. As far
Big
as
D.
intelligence or capability.
Big D, if
Seriously.
anything, you're not average. You've had like
No.
17,000 surgeries and still alive. How's your back? How are you still standing?
Yeah, I wonder that myself sometimes.
It's because God's still got purpose, baby.
Yes.
Yeah, it's become a challenge lately.
Yeah.
My 76th year hasn't been my favorite. I keep telling Susan, but everything's good. I think most of my dreams now are for my kids and grandkids.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's anything that needs to be fulfilled in my life that hasn't been,
Yeah.
through Susan or through my kids and grandkids.
I love that.
So maybe it's the unknown dreams that are the best ones.
Yeah.
I think available. I'm gonna put tattoo that on my forehead or something backwards so I can read it in the mirror. I don't know, but no. That speaks to me a lot. I want to be available for whatever God has for me. But yeah, just being here. We've been here just 3 years, and otherwise it was a 7.5 hour trip. And so just to be here every day and be able to be involved with our not just our kids and our grandkids though. You and
Yeah,
the people here at
fun.
Movement that we've connected with, and in our neighborhood we have lovely, lovely neighbors. So the Lord has stuff for us, and we just kind of open the door and say, "Okay, what's next?"
Yeah. I
But
love
it's
that.
yeah. But we've had one. When I look back, we love to travel. We've been a lot of places,
Yeah.
and we've enjoyed all of that, and
Yeah.
we've enjoyed things
So
about
fun.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that we do like that. But yeah, I think just wait and see.
Yeah.
You mind if I pray for y'all?
Please.
Yeah, let me pray for you. Lord, we just thank you, God, for who you are. God, I'm just amazed sitting here listening to Dennis and Susan and just their stories, and God, how you've been faithful to them, and God, how they've been faithful. And Lord, I just thank you for how you've brought them together, and Lord, I thank you for the impact that you have made through them. Lord, you've made lasting impacts on people's lives through these two, and I'm certain there's people that they don't even know about that they've made lasting impacts on. And then there's people that they've made lasting impacts on that have gone and made impacts on others. And so, Lord, I just thank you for these two and how they have continued to be faithful to you. God, I pray you just continue to supply them with nothing but your spirit, your strength, your wisdom, your discernment. God, I pray you just continue to supply them with joy and just intimacy, Lord. God, I pray that you would just continue to Give them just time with their families and their kids, their grandkids, Lord. Just bless them immensely, Lord. God, continue to deliver them to the places you want them to go. As these two have seen it, they've just continued to be faithful to love and serve others and to consider others greater than themselves. And Lord, they've done it with humility, they've done it with grace, and they've done it with courage. And so I praise you for that, Lord. And I ask that you would just double down on that. Just give them courage, give them humility and grace, Lord, as they go throughout their day and step into the purpose you've called them into, Lord. God, we love you. We thank you for this time. What a joyful time we've had today. We praise you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Well, thank you so much, everybody, for hopping on
thank you.
the deep end. Dennis, Susan, thank you so much.
This is
It's great
great.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
I want
you
to
guys
go
are
and ask
awesome.
you some more questions.
I know.
We'll do
Part
it again.
two.
Surprised we made it through the whole thing and neither one of us broke out in tears.
I
Well, you
got
were
teary
close.
twice. 2 times.
We'll catch you next time, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you have any questions, please email us at thedeependwithdaveandjen@gmail.com. We'll see you back soon for the next episode of The Deep End.